The receipt in Mr. Alden's hand was for a sum that made his heart sink. $47 for a simple loaf of bread, a carton of milk, and a few apples. He stared at the young cashier, Leo, who looked anywhere but at his eyes, tapping the counter impatiently. Mr. Alden's weathered fingers trembled slightly as he reached for his worn leather wallet, a place where every dollar had a name and a purpose. He didn't know it yet, but in that moment, Leo held more than just an overpriced grocery bill. He held the key to a memory and a lesson he never saw coming on the surface. Leo was just another college student working a part-time job at Fresh Mart to pay his way through business school. He was sharp, ambitious, and more than a little impatient with the slower pace of his older customers. To him, time was money, a principle he was learning to apply to everything. He lived in a world of spreadsheets and profit margins, where sentiment had no column.mr. Alden, on the other hand, was a fixture in the neighborhood. A retired watchmaker, he moved with the careful, precise slowness of his former trade. He came to Fresh Mart every Tuesday, his routine as reliable as the old pocket watch he carried. He didn't speak much, but his eyes were kind, holding the gentle wear of many years. That Tuesday started like any other. The autumn sun was weak through the store windows, and Leo was already counting the minutes until his shift ended as Mr. Alden placed his few items on the conveyor belt. Leo sighed inwardly. Here we go again, he thought. The old man fumbled with his reusable bag, taking what felt like an eternity to get his wallet out. To make the wait feel worthwhile, Leo's fingers danced over the register. He double-scanned the apples. He rang the organic milk, though the carton Mr. Alden had chosen was the regular kind. A few extra dollars here and there, who would notice? The store was busy, and the old man seemed confused enough as it was. It was a small thing, Leo told himself, just compensating for his wasted time. When he announced the total, $47.12, Mr. Alden's face fell. A deep, quiet sorrow washed over his features. Not anger, but a profound disappointment. That can't be right, son, he said softly, his voice a dry whisper. It's just a few things. Leo put on his best customer service smile, one that didn't reach his eyes. The prices are all set by the system, sir. It's correct. His tone was final, dismissing the unspoken plea. He watched, a strange mix of guilt and superiority swirling in his chest, as Mr. Alden nodded slowly, accepting the lie. The old man opened his wallet. It wasn't just worn. It was ancient, the leather soft as cloth, and as he carefully extracted the bills, a small, faded photograph slipped from one of the inner pockets. It fluttered down behind the counter, landing face up at Leo's feet. Annoyed, Leo bent to pick it up, ready to hand it back without a second glance. But his hand froze in midair. The photo was of a young soldier, smiling brightly in a uniform that belonged to another era. And next to him, with his arm around the soldier, was a much younger Mr. Alden. The resemblance was unmistakable, but it was the handwritten note on the white border of the photo that stopped Leo's breath. In neat, cursive script, it read, "For Dad, all my love, Michael. Korea, 1951. Leo's eyes snapped from the photo to Mr. Alden, who was still carefully counting out the money, dollar by precious dollar. The world in Leo's head, of margins and efficiencies, cracked open. This wasn't just an old man. This was a father who had lost a son, a man who carried the memory next to his heart every single day. That loaf of bread wasn't just bread. It was his sustenance. That milk was his nourishment. And Leo had tried to cheat him for a few dishonest dollars. A wave of shame, hot and nauseating, crashed over him. He looked at the receipt, at his own deception printed in black and white. He thought of his own father, of what it would mean to lose so much. In that silent moment behind the counter, a profound realization settled in his soul. He wasn't just overcharging a customer. He was stealing from a memory. "Sir," Leo said, his voice thick and unfamiliar. "Wait, please." Mr. Alden looked up, surprised by the change in tone. Leo quickly voided the entire transaction. His hands, which moments before had been so quick to deceive, now worked with a new intention. He rescanned every item properly. The total came to $11.48. He handed the new receipt to Mr. Alden, along with the photograph. His fingers brushed the old man's, and he felt the papery thinness of his skin. "I'm so sorry," Leo whispered, the words feeling utterly inadequate. The system had an error. Mr. Alden took the photo, his thumb gently stroking the image of his son. He looked from the photo to Leo's stricken face, and an understanding passed between them. He didn't need an explanation. He saw the apology in the boy's eyes. "Thank you, Leo," he said, reading the name on the cashier's badge. He paid the correct amount, put his groceries in his bag, and turned to leave. Then he paused, looking back. "You have a good heart. Don't let the world wind it too tight." Leo could only nod, a lump in his throat. From that day on, everything changed. Leo became the most patient cashier in the store. He helped customers carry bags. He learned their names. He always rounded down, never up. And every Tuesday, he would see Mr. Alden coming and have a fresh pot of the coffee he liked ready, waiting to offer him a cup on the house. They never spoke of the photograph again. They didn't need to. It had done its work. That small, faded picture, a sacred object in a worn leather wallet, didn't just correct a price. Corrected a path. It reminded a young man that every person has a story, a history of love and loss etched on their heart, and that true profit isn't measured in coins, but in the kindness we choose to keep in circulation. Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can change someone's world. Share this story if it touched your heart.